Welcome back to English Phonetics and Pronunciation for Italian speakers, lesson number 4. Today we're talking about something we often ignore, and it's very important to learn this before we carry on learning about more vowel sounds, because it's something that if we don't fix straight away, then we'll continue making mistakes. This is vowel length, la lunghezza vocalica. What does that mean? In Italian, all vowel sounds tend to have more or less the same length. But in English, things get more interesting and complicated. So in English, vowel sounds can be short or long, and sometimes the difference in length is what helps us distinguish one word for another. Wait a second. Couldn't we just look at the phonemes that are followed by a colon symbol? We know that it means that they are long sounds, right? No. Obviously. Unfortunately, that is not always the case. So, for example, last lesson we studied the long sound E and the short sound I. So we assumed that every time we encountered this sound E, it would be long. In reality, the length of a vowel can also change depending on what sound comes after it. Specifically, long vowels, and I'm talking about all of them, not just the E, I'm referring to the E because that's the sound we have studied already, tend to get shortened if the next sound is a voiceless consonant. Voiceless consonants are sounds which are produced without any voice or vibration. So if you put your hand here, you should feel no vibration when pronouncing the following sounds. A mistake we often make as Italian speakers is to add voice to these sounds. So for example, let's take this sound k. We should say back, not back, adding this schwa sound, back. K. We should say cat, cat, and not cat, cat. Okay, so basically these sounds don't make your vocal cords vibrate. All good so far? Great. So to recap, if a long vowel sound is followed by any of these voiceless consonants, then its length will be shortened. In linguistics, this phenomenon is called reduced long vowels or pre-fortis clipping. But don't worry about the fancy name. Let's just try to understand how to put it into practice. Examples. Listen to these two words. Bean, beat, bean, beat. Which one sounds shorter to you? Bean, beat. Exactly, beat. That's because the E sound is followed by a voiceless consonant. T, beat. Okay, so how do I know how long to make it? Here, Italian can help. So we could imagine that the E in bean as a double E, like in the word invi. E, invi, bean. And the E in beat as the normal E of vino. Vino, beat. Try with clapping your hands. Bean, beat, bean, beat. So last lesson we also looked at the short I sound, right? So this one should be pronounced extremely short and snappy. A little bit as the final I in vini. I. Non ci cade l'accento e quindi anche in italiano è un suono molto più corto. Sentite, vini. La prima I è lunga, ci cade l'accento, l'ultima I è molto più corta. Vini, I. Ricordate però che il suono corto I va pronunciato come una E chiusa italiana. So the words beat and bit differ both in vowel sound and length. It's almost like having 3 levels. Very long, normal, and very short. Let's try all 3, from the longest sound to the shortest. Bean, beat, bit. Remember to smile when you pronounce that E sound. You're up here in the chart. E, bean, Now, a little disclaimer, I'm very sorry, we're about to look at some swear words. That's because a lot of words contain these two sounds and the length really helps. The funny thing is that Italians, and in reality other English learners, often make the sound in these words very long to avoid swearing or saying a bad word, right? But as you can see, all of these words end with a voiceless consonant, and therefore their vowel sound is not going to be E, but is going to be E. So we tend to say sheet instead of sheet. We tend to say beach instead of beach. And we tend to say peace instead of peace. The importance is that you smile and you keep that vowel sound as a E. E, and don't relax it. Sheet, beach, peace. The other word instead should be a very short E. We learned how to pronounce this last lesson. Shit, bitch, kiss. Let's compare them. Sheet, shit. Smile for the first one. Beach, smile less. Bitch. E chiusa, ricordate? Peace. Piss. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Don't forget we offer online live courses on pronunciation and phonetics, and also live events in London and around Italy, where we will learn pronunciation, phonetics with drama activities. Our next live event will be in Rome at the end of May and in London in July. Check the brochure in the descriptions. And if you're interested in joining any of our courses or activities, please email us at info.onlinelanguagelessons@gmail.com. I will see you next lesson, where we will look at more English versus Italian vowel sounds.